You know, well, I'm a chicken fried and cold beer on a Friday night, a pair of jeans that fit just right, and the radio.
Oh, baby. Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. It's your boy, John to the Reap. Air horn. Don't eat Tide Pods. Listen to the Fried Pod. And first of all, my apologies for not putting one out last week. Heck, I might be two in the hole. I am not sure. But anyway, I'm going to catch you up with everything. As some of you may or may not know, big news. Headlines, all caps. Thanksgiving stroke. That's right. Because I know sometimes the people who listen to the podcast aren't always on my social media, and the people on my social media aren't always listening to the podcast. So forgive me if you've heard this before, but I'm going to try and catch everybody up one more time. A recap of what happened. I'm coming to you live right now from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That's where they make the cigarettes. You ever get a pack of Winstons? You ever get a pack of Salems? You're welcome. They make them right here. Oddly enough, there's a hospital right here, too. So I guess it's like, you know, the gift of the Magi or something. It's like, we give you the cigarettes. We also give you the cancer. Here's the hospital. Here's the cancer center. Anyway, that's not why we're here. I'm here because my dad had a stroke on Thanksgiving Day. Yeah, weird. So here's how that plays out. It's Thanksgiving Day. You got me, Mom, Dad, brother, my good buddy Mark Hunt, who you've heard on the podcast before. We're all just hanging out. We hadn't eaten yet. We were going to wait to eat about 5:30. We were waiting on some other family to get there. All the kids and their friends was going to show up around 5-ish, and we were going to have a big meal. We had a Bojangles turkey in the oven, which, by the way, was good. I did like the turkey. We had everyone was bringing stuff, covered dishes. I mean, we had mashed potatoes, pecan pie, green beans, okra. I know I'm forgetting stuff. We had all kinds of stuff, man. Anyway, we hadn't eaten yet, and we're just sitting there. Dad's sitting right by the fireplace with Mom, and the football game is on. The parade is on. We're going back and forth. You know, my dad kept like wanting to go over there and pick up the food, and Mom was like, "Not yet," like slapping his hand away. "Not yet. Wait till the kids get here. Wait till, you know." So it's just one of those moments where everybody's kind of looking at the TV and it's kind of quiet. And for whatever reason, I happened to be looking right at my dad, and he's sitting there, had his arms folded, right? And he's looking at the ground like he's thinking about something. And he just fell forward, pow, and his head hit the hardwood floor pretty hard. And I thought he was joking, you know. I thought he was trying to make a joke about, you know, having low blood sugar because he hadn't eaten all day. So I was like, "Ha ha, good one, Dad." You know, and, you know, I know people say that when you have a stroke, you can see their face will get droopy or something on one side. I didn't see any of that. Maybe because he was looking at the floor at the time. You know, I didn't really notice it, but I just saw him hit the floor. Luckily, he wasn't standing up. Luckily, he wasn't in a shower. Luckily, he wasn't driving prisoners across the state, which he does that. Luckily, he wasn't mowing the grass. Luckily, he was sitting very close to the ground anyway, on the hearth next to the fireplace, and he just keeled over, foul. And I thought it was a joke. I started laughing. And then my brother goes, "No, I don't think that's a joke. He hit pretty hard. I don't think Dad would hit his head on the floor that hard. He doesn't have that kind of commitment to a joke, you know, one that would cause pain like that." So we're like, "Oh, okay." So Jason and Mark and me and Mom, we all stand over him. We're stretching him out. We're trying to get him looked at and see what's going on. We're going, Dad, Dad. And he's half with it, half not. And then you could see the left side of the face, the left side of the hand kind of curling. There's a little droopiness. And we're like, oh, boy, that's a stroke. And so Jason basically took charge. He goes, that's a stroke. John, call 911. So that was my duty. Jason put me on 911 duty. I called 911, and Mom and Mark and Jason were just standing over Dad, trying to get him to be coherent, answer questions, assess the situation. It was very scary. Came out of nowhere. You don't plan these things. It just happened. And in a weird way, it was in the universe. It was cosmically supposed to happen. I don't want to say supposed to happen, but I have not lived in Hickory in 26 years. I just moved back in August. I flew my dad out to Los Angeles. We packed up a trailer. We drove it together from California to North Carolina. Okay? Part of that reason was to be closer to my family in their golden years. I wanted to be here to protect them, to take care of them. They did so much for me growing up, put me through high school, sent me on a world-wide peace mission in Russia for 3 weeks, always had my back. And so I was thinking, maybe it's my turn to give back. I've done well for myself. I sold my house in Los Angeles, made some money there. I'm doing all right. I can still do this career and live anywhere. I have agents and managers. I'll just record myself for auditions and send it in. They say yes or no. Luckily, I've paid my dues enough that I've established like that. I have those perks. So it really doesn't matter where I live. So I thought, well, now's the time to get out. And, I don't know. It's kind of perfect timing now that I look back on it, because I sold my house at a perfect time, made money on that. As soon as I leave, all kinds of shootings are happening. That shooting that happened at the Borderline bar, not far from where I lived, actually, Thousand Oaks, I believe it was, country night. Guy came in there and started shooting up a bunch of people. It's very close to where my buddy John Heffron lives. And then there's 2 forest fires going off at the same time. And they're due for a big earthquake. So I'm thinking, wow, that was perfect timing, right? Now I come home a couple months later to take care of Mom and Dad and be with my family and get a house on Lake Hickory. That's all my plans. Dad has a stroke. So in a weird way, maybe that was meant to be. Maybe God put me there to do that, to be here for that reason. So crazy timing. At first, I was like, for selfish reasons, like, not now, Dad. We haven't even eaten yet. No turkey's been had. We got to go to the hospital. So, and by the way, shout out to the first responders. 911 happened very quickly in Mountain View. I had, was it Scott or David Jandrew? One of the brothers was the youngest one. I went to high school with both of them. He was there really quick and was on the scene assessing the situation. Then an ambulance came after that, and they were all very sweet. Now, the problem was my poor dad had just had lipothrapsy. That's a thing for kidney stone where they blast it with ultrasound or lasers or something. I don't know. So he just had that procedure. So he was peeing blood anyway, because that's just what happens. They pound the crap out of your kidney to get rid of the kidney stone, and you slowly pee out the powder, and you're going to have a little blood in your pee. So he was already kind of going through the healing of that. That was like day 2 of healing. So when he had the stroke, there is a medication they could have given him, some sort of blood thinner, I think, to prevent some brain damage possibly during the stroke, but they couldn't even do that because he had the kidney procedure, and had they done that, he may have had really massive internal bleeding. So that was unfortunate. They couldn't give him that. So he had the stroke. First responders come. Even in this situation, my dad is still trying to be funny. Like, he was supposed to drive me to Annapolis, Maryland for a gig. Now normally I don't, that's too far of a drive for me. I'll take a flight. If it's over 3 hours, 4 hours, I'm like, 5 definitely I'm driving. And this is going to be like a 6 or 7 hour trip. So, but he goes, no, I want to drive. I want to do it. It's just going to be a real quick trip. I just had one night of comedy at a place I'd never been to in Annapolis, Maryland. Very, very nice, by the way. Rams Head on stage. We had a good time. But I was supposed to go there. Dad was supposed to drive me. And as he's having a stroke, he's looking at me going like, I'm still driving to Annapolis, Maryland. Okay? I'm still driving to Annapolis, Maryland. I'm okay, Dad. You got it. Just let this pass. We'll be on the road in no time. And then, one of the paramedics is grabbing his hands, saying, "David, can you see me? I need you to squeeze my hand as hard as you can, okay?" And he goes, "I don't want to hurt you. I will crush you." So he's still trying to be funny in those moments, which is, I think that's a defense mechanism. It's sort of to make me and Mom and Jason feel like everything's okay, to set us at ease, to lighten the moment, even though he's having a stroke. All very scary. I don't recommend watching it. So we rush him to Fry Hospital. Then when we get to Fry, everyone who was going to come to the house for Thanksgiving is now at the hospital. All the kids, all their friends, dates, whatever, everybody is there. Pastor came by, and so now we're like, we don't know what's up. He's in a room, and it's looking crazier now because really everything on the left side's drooping and not working. It was that part was really scary because at any minute, it could all change for the worse or for the better. I don't know. That's the thing. The doctors and nurses, they're used to this kind of stuff. It's what they've signed up for. They have more information. People like me, I didn't go to school to be a patient. I'm not a professional patient. I don't understand things that are going on. So I don't know. Most of the nurses are great, but some of them need a little better bedside manner, or at least explain things in a way that you got to dumb it down for people who didn't go to school for this. All right, you got to make it. Stop using words that are over our heads. Anyway, that's just a little fun fact, a little tip for nurses out there. Anyway, so we're not sure what's happening. They're looking at him and thinking, okay, well, we can't give him that one medication because he had the kidney procedure, so we got to take him to Winston. So they drove him to Winston-Salem Baptist University Hospital, which I've heard is the best. That's where he's at now. He was in the ICU, and they immediately put a feeding tube down his nose into his stomach. They hook him up. They do a CT scan to look at his brain. They hook up catheters, all the IVs, catheters, everything. He's getting poked and prodded right and left. So then the first bit of news we got was the CT scan. And they're like, well, he did suffer some brain damage. There was he had a carotid artery in his neck. I think that's what that's called. Blocked artery in his neck that a blood clot got in there, and it restricted blood flow to the brain, and that's what caused the stroke. He now has a stent in his neck to keep that artery open. He also has blockage in the other artery, so at some point he's going to have to put a stent in the other neck. We just got to get him through all this stuff first. But they were telling us because of the lack of blood flow to the brain, he does now have permanent brain damage, and they were showing us where it is at the top, like right here. But my only question was, well, did you happen to take a CT scan before the stroke? We've always thought he's had a little brain damage. How do you know that wasn't already there? Because my dad he's a funny guy. So, and he's been banged up lots of times. I mean, he's got a titanium knee. He's had kidney stones, gallstones. He's been shot. He's got a bullet in his spine. He played football. He, was on a SWAT team. I mean, the man's been banged up. How do you know that brain damage wasn't already there? So we don't know. I asked those questions. But so that's the situation. He was in the ICU, and they just were, getting his blood pressure down and going to see where if he recovers on his own. We're doing exercises, physical therapy, occupational therapy. So that was ICU, all right? Then they move him a step down from the ICU. Same building, just a floor below that, which is a move in the right direction. Okay. So now we're in there, and new nurses are coming in, telling us different things. Basically, they're saying, all right, after he gets out of this, well, first of all, my dad, after the stroke, he's with it. His brain is working. He knows who he is. He knows who we are. He knows what date it is. He knows who the president is. He knows where we are in the hospital. He answers all those questions just fine. But a little bit like this, a little bit like this with the tube going to his nose. So he's a little bit hard to understand. And if you don't know my dad, you don't know he's joking half the time. So that's how with it he is. He's with it good enough that he's making jokes. Now, my concern is the nurses don't know this. So I have to be the interpreter, And when I'm not in the room, who knows what's happening? Miscommunication all over the place, I'm sure. But they'll come and go, okay, David Reap, do you know where you are? And he'll say, purgatory. And he'll say purgatory, and I don't even know if some of these people know what that means. That's the place between heaven and hell. And they'll go, and they'll say, no, sir, where are you? And then he'll tell them, okay, she didn't get the joke. I'm at Wake Forest Baptist Hospital. She goes, that's right. So some of these nurses either don't have a sense of humor or just aren't getting the jokes or can't understand my dad with that tube in his nose. And some of them, English isn't their first language. So that's another problem. I mean, it's not a problem, but I do feel like if you're going to be in a life or death situation with patients, you need to know every little nuance of the English language. I think that's important. Communication is very, very important in these situations. So that's one little complaint I have. But that being said, all he wants right now is a mocha frappe from McDonald's. It's all he can talk about. He's like, I want a mocha frappe. I want a mocha frappe. And one interesting moment, a lady came in, and she said, she's asking all the questions, like, Mr. Reap, do you know what day it is? Do you know who the president is? And he goes, yes, Donald J. Trump. And then he goes, wait, is America great again? Like that, like he's been out forever. And that got a big laugh. And then he told the nurse, he goes, okay, now I want a mocha frappuccino from McDonald's. Mocha frappe from McDonald's, please. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry, David. I can't do that. That's not allowed. Doctor's orders. He goes, well, my initials are DR, David Reap. DR, that makes me a doctor. Now go get me a mocha frappuccino. That's an order. And that got a big laugh. So, he's making us laugh. We're making him laugh. Our goal right now is to rehabilitate that guy. So today, he's getting the tube out of his nose, and he's doing what's called a PEG surgery. Now, PEG surgery is where they take that tube and stick it directly in your stomach from the outside. So they're going to cut a hole in him, and stick a tube in him so he can get fed that way. And there will be nothing going down his nose to his stomach that way, which will be more comfortable for him. He can relax, he can talk, he can pronounce words, and he won't be so sore in the back of his mouth, needing the ice chips, because that does hurt the back of your mouth. And he'll get better nourishment that way, I've been told. So that'll happen. We'll be here a couple of more days. maybe longer, however long it takes him to heal from the peg surgery. Then from there, we have to figure out where he's going. Now, we basically have two options. We've got high-intensity physical therapy, which is kind of what we were hoping for. But in order to do that, you got to be strong enough to handle 6 hours of physical therapy every day. High intensity, right? And as of now, he can do this. This is all he can do with his hand. He can do some of this, right? He can't lift his arm at all, but he can do this if he tries hard. With his leg, and for those of you on the podcast, I'm sorry, I'm showing Facebook. What I'm doing is just wiggling my fingers a little bit. He can't move his arm up or down, but he can wiggle his fingers a little bit. And his leg, his left leg, he can move it from right to left at the hip. He can wiggle his toes a little bit. And I haven't really seen him move his knee, though, but those are the things he can do. And when they set him up in the bed where he's sitting up, because he's not centered, his balance isn't there yet because he can't feel on the left side, he naturally wants to fall over. So he has to use one arm to hold him up. And even that arm wants to push more because it doesn't feel the left side. So he's got to learn how to balance himself with his right arm. Even though his right arm works, his brain is telling him to push harder because it doesn't feel the left side, if that makes any sense. So he has to learn how to sit up in bed. And so far, that's all he's gotten. And if that's the case, that's very, very, very unlikely that he can handle the high-intensity physical therapy. So I'm thinking that they're going to, put this peg in him, let him heal a couple days, reassess. Maybe he can pass a swallowing test. That's another thing you got to do. You got to pass a swallowing test. And then after that, do some more physical therapy to see if he can handle the high-intensity physical therapy. We've been told that that's the best place. That's where you kind of want to go because people, they have a better success rate of making a full comeback, if any kind of comeback, at the high intensity. But I've also heard the skilled nursing facility is not bad either. It's just lower intensity. He has a nurse come in and work with him. It's not high intensity, but that's long term. That could take longer. So one of those two things are going to happen. And I'm okay with either one because I got good news from my good friend Dodie Bowman. Thank God for this girl. She knows everybody in anything when it comes to politics in North Carolina. This girl knows everybody in the medical field. She's been making phone calls. So luckily, because I know people who know people, and not getting any special favors, we're just going to get all the correct information. Now we know what to ask. We know what questions to ask, what's best for Dad. Whatever is best for Dad is what we're going to do. He's either going to be in the best skilled nursing facility or the best high-intensity physical therapy. Either way, he's making tiny steps in the right direction, and he's still alive, and we're just very happy for that. And I want to thank everybody listening to this that has sent us words of encouragement, videos you've made. It really has helped my dad. There are moments where, because he's heavily medicated, sometimes he's asleep a lot, and sometimes he's not with it, But when he is with it, and I show him videos, I've been showing him y'all's videos, and he absolutely loves it. He's gotten to the point where he's asking for it. Give me another video. I want to see another video. And what that does is, it's not just to cheer him up. It actually does help his brain. Because when you watch a video, you're using both sides of your brain, and you're looking at it and you're listening to it, and it stimulates both sides, and that's what we want. So if you want to help, right now we don't need any money. Hopefully. Hopefully that won't happen, but we got great insurance. We got Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. So they're double covered. We should be fine there. So at this moment, we're not asking for money. Hopefully that won't happen. But what we are, if you want to help, make a fun little video. Send it to my dad. Send it to me on Facebook. And something, tell him to get better, a well wish. That does help. And so thank you all for sending all of those. It does mean a lot. And, the emotions here, 1 minute we're crying, the next minute we're laughing. It's all over the map. I was still able to go do my gigs somehow. I flew to Annapolis, Maryland, and did my gig there at Ram's Head with Brent Blakeney. Shout out Brent Blakeney, a.k.a. The Clutch, for being strong as well. He knew I was, I had to perform with a cast on. As you can see, the sling is no longer on, but I still am going through physical therapy myself. It's not a good month for the reaps, I'll tell you that. November, December. Here's a recap of all the reaps. Shoulder surgery I have, so I'm still recovering from that. Jason, kidney stone. He passed one of those. Mom, glaucoma eye infection. Dad, stroke and kidney stone. So we're just ready for 2019 to get here. All right, let's just fast forward, get this thing over with. But yeah, so I've been working on my arm, trying to get it better. It's fine. I can go about that high. I think I'm ahead of the game in terms of my recovery for the shoulder. But that's just a tiny thing. But I had to perform in Maryland with the sling on and Dad in the hospital having a stroke. Had to do 2 shows, and I hadn't performed in over a month. I've been thinking about this the whole time. But luckily, muscle memory kicked in, and was able to do it. I actually did write material about the sling I was wearing, but I wasn't able to talk about Dad yet because it was too soon, right? Like I felt if I did that, I would start breaking down and crying. So I didn't talk about him in Annapolis, Maryland. But the next gig I had was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I had a show Thursday, Friday, Saturday. 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. Thursday, didn't mention anything about it. By the time I got to the late show Friday, I felt comfortable enough to address it because I knew, especially in North Carolina, there were a lot of people who come to see me who also follow me on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. So I really felt like I had to mention it. And by the way, I got permission from Dad to mention it. He's like, you go do what you always do, make people happy, and then come back here with that cash and make us happy. Old Popsicle, still making me laugh. And I wouldn't have done anything had he say, I need you here. I wouldn't have left had he said, I think I'm going to die. He's making improvements. So I went and did my gig. I went to Raleigh, talked about it a little bit on stage. Everyone applauded and was like happy to hear that your dad's doing good. So, and thank you to, I got a couple celebrities who were wishing me well. Not to be a name dropper or anything, but Jim Gaffigan posted on my Instagram, because I posted that my dad wanted a milkshake really bad, and he said, well, I'm sure he would love a milkshake right now, but we wouldn't want him to aspirate, which is exactly what can happen and kind of did happen one time, where aspirate is when you're drinking a liquid and it goes to, instead of going into your stomach, it goes inside of your lung, and you have a huge coughing fit. And coughing after a stroke with catheters in you and tubes and IVs is not fun. So we had to stop that. But that was nice of Jim Gaffigan, who also went through something like this. It was very nice to hear from him. Also, Jim Jeffries sent me a message on Instagram as well, private message. Thank you for that. And all you non-celebrities, everybody, all of them mean something. I didn't realize how much things like that helped, because I've been on the other side many times, countless times, where I've seen friends of mine, acquaintances of mine going through something, and I've seen everyone like, hey, prayers up, thoughts are with you, good vibes. I just thought that's something you did as just to be a good person, I didn't know how much it actually helped until you get on this side, and it does help, and it does mean a lot, and it's working. Whatever you're doing is working, because Dad is getting better, you know. I'm going to say that's what it is, so that you'll keep doing it. So keep doing what you're doing, you know, whatever it is. If prayer's your thing, keep doing that. If positive vibes in the universe is your thing, keep doing that. Thoughts is your thing, keep thinking them thoughts. Whatever it is, keep doing it, because it seems to be working. So, yeah, today he has the surgery. Thank you, Julie Denner. Today he has the surgery to get the tube out of his neck, out of his nose into his stomach, and then maybe in a day or two we'll have him in Catawba or somewhere closer to home. You know, that's another thing. We're having to drive back and forth from Hickory to Winston, which is like, you know, an hour and 10 minutes or something each way. Hotels, gas, starts to add up over a while. But I got tons of hotel points. We're fine there. But hopefully they'll say, okay, he's good to go, and we'll get him back to Hickory at a nice facility there, either Catawba's high-intensity physical therapy and or a nice skilled nurses facility in Hickory somewhere. That's the goal. We're hoping that's going to happen the next couple of days. That's what seems to be going on. He got sworn in. I'd like to say thank you to Nathan Fisher, and thank you to the lady who bought their Christmas package. Oh, God, I think her name was Laurie or something. Hang on, let me double-check something. My mom sent me a message about that. Let me double-check. I'm looking up on... oh, well, it's not on here because I don't have the Wi-Fi. Anyway, I'll look it up later. I'm using my phone to do the Facebook Live, and I don't want to lose you when I go look up a text. The lady who bought... Okay, so my parents were going to take a trip to New York for Christmas. It was going to be a Christmas Wonderland trip to New York. They paid over $1,000 each. That's over $2,000 for the trip, and the back out minute had already passed. So they were already past the time they could back out and get a refund. So we put it online. Hey, I don't want my parents to lose $2,000, so anybody who wants to take a trip to New York, here you go. And luckily someone did. Came to the house, wrote a check, gave us a card. Very sweet of her. And I don't know why I'm spacing on her name. Let me see if I could. I'm afraid I'm going to lose you guys. Laurie something maybe? Lori or Laurie something. Anyway, I'll get it right. I'll put it on Facebook later and thank her. Thank you. Yeah, so there's that. I was forgetting something. Crap. Anybody can remind me of what I was going to say next? What was it? Thanks for the shout-outs. Lots of thank yous. Positive. Getting in again to Hickory. My next gig, I got gigs coming up still. You know, Dad told me. He's like, keep on doing your thing, son. So I am. My next gig will be, where am I going? I'm going to be in Des Moines, Iowa at the Funny Bone. That's December 6, 7, and 8. That's tomorrow, actually. Or as you listen to this, it'll be right now, tonight. Come see me at the Funny Bone in Des Moines, Iowa. And then after that, I'm off. I don't have a gig until the 20th of December. 20th of December, I will be in Columbus, Ohio at the Funny Bone. 20, 21, 22. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Columbus, Ohio, Funny Bone. Then I come home for Christmas. Then after that, I'm going to Nashville. I'm going to be at Zany's Comedy Club, December 27, 28, 29. And then from there, for the New Year's Eve gig, I'll be going to Huntsville, Alabama, December 30 and 31. There you go. Those are the rest of the year tour dates. And when I'm not there, I'm going to be with my dad. Now, hopefully, he'll be somewhere in Hickory. at a good rehab facility and not here in Winston-Salem. Nothing against Winston-Salem, but, we want him closer to home. So that's the latest. Just a random side note, because my dad had a kidney stone, and this is not the first time he had a kidney stone. He had to get one actually removed before, and that procedure does not sound fun. But they have to go in through the pee hole with a tiny little thing with claws and pulled it out. No, thank you. He had to do that one time. But this last one he just had, they just blasted it with sound, crushed it up, and then he could pee it out, the powder out. Now, my brother, who is younger than me, who is way healthier than me, just had a kidney stone before all this, like a couple weeks ago. And he said it was the worst pain he's ever felt in his life. My dad also said the worst pain he's ever felt in his life. My brother is the picture of health. He works out twice a day. He runs 5Ks for fun. He does Tough Mudders. He does CrossFit, okay? The guy has no fat on his body. He eats nothing but grilled chicken and vegetables. And he had a kidney stone. I am the opposite of that. I mean, although I did just recently start going to the gym a lot, my diet's not like his. I drink coffee. I drink alcohol. I drink Red Bulls. I don't run 5Ks and do Tough Mudders. I am not that way. So I know I probably have a kidney stone. Like, I just figured I gotta have one. So because I was so freaked out about it, I made an appointment to the urologist. And that was yesterday. And so I went in there, and I was a little nervous because I didn't want them to tell me I don't need an x-ray. See, some of these places, unless you have symptoms, they won't do stuff, right? So you have to lie to them. It's a stupid game you have to play. So I went in there pretending to have kidney pains. I haven't had any kidney pains. I just want the x-ray. Because my brother said they took an x-ray, and that's where they saw the kidney stone. Same thing with Dad. I'm like, well, I just want an x-ray, man. Let's stay atop of this, right? Let's stay ahead of this. So I go there. I pee in the thing. They go, your urine's fine. No blood in your urine. I go, okay. And then the guy comes in there, the doctor. Very cool guy, by the way. Love the doctor. But still wasn't sure if he was cool enough for me to just be truthful with. So I had to lie to him. I was like, yeah, it's just these sharp pains back here, man, right here. And then he's like, get really detailed with the questions, and my lies are getting worse and worse. He's like, well, how long do they last? I'm like, it's like 20 seconds or so. Okay, and is it at night too when you're sleeping? Does it wake you up? No, just a couple times a week it happens randomly. Okay, is it like a sore pain? Is it like a stabbing pain? It's like just take the x-ray. I didn't say that, but that's what I was wanting. Anyway, and while I was in there, I also was honest with him. I was like, hey, man, I do have to pee a lot at night. I do drink a lot of caffeine and alcohol, so I'm constantly going to take a whiz, and sometimes I'll pee, and then I'll be done peeing, and then 2 seconds later, I got to pee again, like I didn't empty the whole thing out. So I'm thinking that's probably an enlarged prostate or something, and I didn't I didn't really trust the doctor last time. If any of y'all have seen me on stage talk about my prostate exam, then I don't trust that doctor because it was in and out. I don't think he was inside of me long enough to assess that situation. He said I had a perfect prostate, but I think there's no way you could have known that. It was in half a second he was in there. Anyway, I'm having this conversation with my doctor. And he goes, okay, well, drop your pants. Let's take a look at everything. So he's looking at my gonads, made me cough. I'm thinking, okay, well, that's part of what a urologist does. And he goes, okay, and then go ahead and turn around, put your elbows right here. I'm like, oh, we're going to do that, are we? I'm like, hey, when in Rome, let's knock it out. So we get in there. I put my elbows on the table, and it's another prostate exam. Wasn't prepared for that again. Didn't see that coming. But he goes, yeah, your prostate is normal. You have a normal prostate. So I got 2 prostate exams in under a year. It's not because I'm into it. It's just because I'm a hypochondriac, and I see what's happening to my dad and to my brother, and I'm just trying to stay ahead of it. But happy to report no kidney stones, perfect prostate. Maybe I'll take some Flomax for the peeing a lot, but other than that, I'm good. And now it's Project Get Dad out of the hospital. Project Get Dad back in Hickory. Oh, I was going to tell you this real quick, and then we'll wrap this one up. He got sworn in. Thank you, Nathan Fisher and the Notary Public that came up here. My dad, some of you might know, is a deputy sheriff and works in the courthouse in Newton as a bailiff. And there's the new sheriff in town. For real, a new sheriff was elected. I always wanted to say that. There's a new sheriff in town. But there really is. And so the new sheriff, has to decide who he's going to keep as his deputies and whatnot. And Dad passed the test. Before the stroke, they said, yeah, we're going to keep you, but we're going to swear you in again. And there's a deadline, a cutoff for that. And Dad had a stroke, and he wasn't going to make the cutoff. But they were nice enough to send some people up here to Winston from Hickory and swear him in the hospital room while he was laying in bed. So thank you, Nathan Fisher and the notary that came up here to do that. That made his day. That lifted his spirits so much. So thanks for that. All right. We got to wrap this up. Any questions? I'm looking at the Facebook live feed right now for the podcast listeners, wondering if I've missed something, looking to see if there's any last-minute questions. Stephanie Perry McBride says, thank him for serving. I back the black and blue. That's right. Yeah, my dad actually, he's been a cop for most of his life. He actually got shot in the line of duty on a domestic violence case. Guy was beating his wife. He went to check her out, and the dude had a .22 and shot him in the stomach. And then Dad unloaded on him and killed that guy. Self-defense. But, yeah, it's almost hard to kill my dad. Thank you, Deborah, for the prayers going up. Everyone says they're praying in Hickory. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. And again, I apologize to the All Things Comedy Network for not getting one out last Friday, but I'm sure you guys could understand there was a lot going on, a lot of movement happening. So I guess that's it. Check out my tour dates, johnreap.com. I'm reading these things here. I've never been handcuffed by him. If I did, it was just for fun. Go to johnreep.com, JONREEP.com, and my tour dates are right there. There are links to my podcast, and there's merchandise. Christmas is around the corner. Those of y'all watching this on Facebook, this is my hat. This is my baseball team I'm starting. Junior League, right there. That's a JR back-to-back, John Reap. We don't ever play baseball. We walk around together as if we're a baseball team. People are like, ooh, well, they must be on a team. We give the illusion of athleticism. That's the goal. Because girls like baseball players. They just like the way they look, so we're just trying to do that part. We're not going to play. We're just going to try and look like them. So anyway, if you want some merchandise of mine, go to johnreap.com, click on the store, and you can get it right there. I'd actually love it if you signed up on my email list. That would help me, because what that does is when you get on my email list, it asks for your zip code, and then I will know. Wait, here's a question. Can you hang on? This is from Lance Patrick, my boy. Lance, I owe you a phone call, and I love you so much, buddy. I've been slammed, but let me read his question. Question, can you please have Dad record his comedy special while he's in the hospital? Popsicle in Purgatory. That's a good one. Lance, I think you made a video already. I think you did. If not, resend it to me, because people were putting videos all over the place. Some were on Instagram, some were in Messenger, some were on my page, some got emailed, and some are just getting, I can't find them. So, Lance, if you did one, please resend it. If not, please do one because you're one of his favorite people, Lance. Lance Patrick, good guy. Anyway, go to my website, click on my email list because what that does is ask for your zip code, and I will email you if I'm performing anywhere near you, right? That's all it is. You don't get spam from me. You don't get any kind of, I don't sell your email to Russia. Nothing like that. It's only to let you know when I'm coming near you or if I'm going to do something on TV or in a movie, That's it. So go to johnreap.com, sign up on that email list. That would help me a lot. Also, don't forget to, if you're listening to us on iTunes, you can rate us, rate us on iTunes. You can give us a review. You can subscribe, and you can share. That's my favorite thing to do. That's my favorite thing to have you guys to do is rate, review, subscribe, and share. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. Your R's and your S's. Rate, review, subscribe, and share. Tell others about it. I've been slacking off on this podcast because of the stroke, and so I need to get back on the horse, and you guys were the first one back. So they're going to get funnier. Don't worry. I'll think of other stuff. And I'm going to be in Des Moines, Iowa. I'll grab the comedian there. We'll make a fun podcast. Don't worry. Fried still coming at you every Friday. And that being said, happy Friday, everybody.
And the radio up, I like to see sunrise. See the love in my woman's eyes. Feel the touch of my precious child. And no mother's love